welcome to our Team Beauty Official Podcast, Season 3, She Inspires Us. I am so happy and feel so blessed to be here in the room with somebody so special, somebody that I've seen grow from the moment that she started. I still remember Aide, okay, the moment that, you were at your CrossFit gym, all fit, working out, and, here you are, a professional, amazing, beautiful entrepreneur that is inspiring so many women. And so we have her here in the room tonight, and we're not only going to talk about how empowering you've been, but we're also going to talk about, this topic of smoking, right? You being that heavy smoker, being also able to have the generational impact in your family. So welcome to our podcast, Aide. How do you feel?
I feel honored. Thank you for the invitation, Jerry. Yes, as a CrossFit, as me having, that fitness, going into the fitness, and obviously the smoking, it's not compatible to the workout. Mm-hmm. So little did I know that I started making, some changes along the way, but now, fast forward to now, from a heavy smoker, like you said, I'm going to be going on 5 years this year without smoking.
Wow, Aide. Yes, it's very inspiring. And so give us a little bit of your story about the back end. You've been in Team Beauty for how long?
I've been in Team Beauty this year, 7 years.
7 years. Okay, so tell me a little bit of how, this smoking addiction came into your life. When did you start? Has it been, siempre? Where did this, how was this born inside of you?
Well, growing up, my family, none of my family members were smokers. So I didn't pick up that habit, at home, neither my mom or my dad, but now I know that you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. So my husband is a smoker, little did I know, I picked up that habit, he would smoke, and then, you're at a barbecue, you're having a drink, and by the time you know it, you're kind of just doing what everybody's doing. So I picked up that habit, where I was going, drinking and smoking kind of just was the pair at that time. And I did smoke for 10 years, and and
like the burger and the fry, they have to go
yes,
together.
It's a combo. it goes together, and that's how I did it for 10 years actually.
Okay, 10 years. And how was this decision of, because I remember actually when you joined, we took some trips, we were around different areas, different parties, and I would see, right? And it's like you were already in our community, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, everybody does, whatever they need to do. But, I would wonder, how this went about. And so you were already in the active lifestyle, right? Healthy and active lifestyle. And so when was it when Aide says, okay, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to smoke anymore. How was that when you decided to stop?
Like I say, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. And when I started surrounding myself with women like you all inspire me to become more, be better, at that event, at the Team Beauty photo shoots, like there was nobody like smoking or drinking. So for me, that was something that I liked, women all glammed up, the last thing I wanted to be is smoking, at that event. So for me, I did get inspired by seeing, other women, and slowly but surely, I started transitioning, like when we had the events, I wouldn't, smoke. But then, I came to a decision one day, that one day, when I was going to be 40, I said, when I'm 40, I'm just going to call it quits. And like I said, it's going to be 5 years this year.
So you're 45.
I'm going to be 45.
Okay, so you said, cuando yo cumpla 40, yes. When I turn 40, yes. I'm going to stop smoking.
Yes.
And was that easy when that came around? Like 40 years old, why 40? Like, why was I there thinking this way?
I think because I did it all wrong. All the time. And
what is that for you?
For me, like,
what was all wrong?
Like wrong meaning like what not to be. Mm-hmm. And as a 40-year-old mature woman, you know what you want. You know that, I knew what I wanted. I saw myself, and the women, like, wow, like I started seeing myself, I can be this person. So I started, grooming myself, and I knew I wanted to be a boss babe one day. And, I looked up to you all, you and Jess, and I said, when I'm 40, it came to a decision basically, when our words have power. And when I said at 40, it was like the ticking was like happening, and I never looked back. I never had an urge. I know most people say like it's an addiction, you're gonna have a withdrawal effect, you're gonna have all these symptoms. For me, it was a mindset. I had been developing a mindset throughout the years. We had the leadership trainings, the women empowerment, hearing women after women, where their stories. And for me, I just took on that decision.
So tell me a little bit, like, okay, inside of Team Beauty. So you were in Team Beauty, let's say about 2 years, if I do the math correctly. 2 years, right? Still smoking, right? Here and there. And then 5 years ago, you said no more at the age of 40. Yes. And that was the decision, right? And how powerful that you say, your meetings, your empowerment, your trainings, all of these things, really polishing up your mindset. I like to see it as you're speaking, like you're warming yourself up, like, ya voy a cumplir 40, right? I'm going to turn 40, because you had already said, right? And so what do you think is the difference? There's some people sometimes that say, I want to do it by 40, and they don't get to that, right? Like they turn 40 and it's like they're trying their best, but they don't like get to it completely. So what would you say, for you? What is that decision? What was that feeling inside of you that, because I mean, it's like yesterday you smoked and then today you're not anymore for the rest of your life, right? So, ¿cómo se te sentías? How did you feel? What would you tell yourself? How would you go about on your daily, like, to stay on the positive, right? To stay not going back to that.
For me, again, I heard one day at an event where they said, it's in the person you're going to become in this company. And I honestly believed it. Like, it's in the person that I can become. And, I didn't make very smart decisions growing up, and for me, I said, I can do this. I know if I'm very goal oriented, like I'm very determined when I set my mind to something. So I said, what if I start making, right decisions, right? What if I start, making it a goal, and 1 year at a time, taking it off. So I said, when I'm 40, I'm going to be a mature adult again. And I said, this is who I'm going to become. Every year, I'm going to become the 1% better. Every year, I want to now leave a legacy, to my kids. I want my daughter to look up to me and not just think like, yes, X, Y, and Z, smoking and stuff like that. But for me, it was a decision. And when I took that decision, I just never looked back.
Love that, Aide. And so how did Team Beauty find you? Tell me, how did Team Beauty find you?
Team Beauty found me working out. I was a gym junkie for 3 years. I was already working out, but knew nothing about nutrition. It was just a hobby. I was a stay-home mom at that time. I had previously, worked for 15 years, so I never knew about fitness, but I was already working out. And my cousin invited me to a challenge of a 12-week transformation with Team Beauty. And I said, why not? So I started that journey, and from there became, a lifestyle for 12 weeks. There was like a meal plan and stuff like that. So I didn't have like alcohol for 12 weeks. I was in my meal plan. So it found me overweight. So on my first transformation, I lost 14% body fat and gained 15 pounds of lean muscle.
And now I know that, you've been able to, one of the things that catches our attention a lot, okay, is that you've been able to create these awesome, healthy habits. You're fairly active, right? You're someone that wakes up early. You've created very good disciplines in your life, as you've been learning more, right, about all of this. Yes. And so now we see that, you've been able to impact your daughter. You've been able to impact your mom. your family. And so that generational impact, about not only looking good yourself or feeling good yourself, but, what inspires us in you is for you to be so proud, that you're 3 generations inside of Team Beauty, right? Like the 3 of you show up to the events. It's so beautiful to see. And so how did that happen? Like after you started, how long did it take before your mom, your daughter, tell us a little bit about that backstory and how is it inside of your family, when, you're living this life now?
So it was like 2 years where I was doing it on my own at the beginning. Again, I was working out, doing the fitness, the nutrition, and stuff like that. My mom had been overweight pretty much for over 20 years, and I never knew that was a problem. I never knew that, she was overweight. I don't know where I was, but I never knew none of that. So as I was plugging into a lot of the empowerment calls, I knew that inspiring and helping my mom, maybe I didn't need that much of the nutrition, but I said, if I start making those lifestyle changes myself, I know that I can help my mom. And at that time when I was in CrossFit, I couldn't get her to go into CrossFit because, sometimes we don't know, but we intimidate people by the way we look. So I was getting fit with nutrition and I was looking, like a trainer and stuff like that.
¿Cómo se llaman los estos que hacen así?
Los snatches,
The
power
cleans.
cleans, power cleans.
The cleans.
So like imagine me power cleaning 125 pounds. The last thing a person that is overweight wants to be surrounded with women that don't have a shirt on. At that time I had the confidence. So slowly she started coming around and I started helping her. And then one day, she just told me, hey, I'll do it with you, but if you do it with me at the location that I'm at right now. And at that time, selfish of mine, I said, no, Mom, like, what do you think? I'm going to leave all this. I was selfish at that time because before it was just about me. It was about competing. It was about, strength. It was about that. And when I started, thinking of others and I started inspiring my mom to get started, she started getting results. And I ended up, helping her on 4 of the challenges, actually. And she lost 75 pounds. So
wow, 75 pounds, your mom.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she started helping herself, and by that, she started also impacting her community around her, because I knew that a lot of times, they can tell you, well, it's because you're young. I was going to be my 40s. So they're like, oh, you're young. So when I started helping my mom, I believe that that's when we opened that door to my family, of, a good nutrition and believing in what we were doing, because it started as a hobby, as a fitness. And then we started learning about nutrition. And I told my mom, and I would say it in Spanish, but yo le dije, Ama, yo te voy a cuidar en vida. Yo no voy a ser tu provider. We're going to, do self-love. We're going to take photos and we're going to travel the world. And she believed me, more than she believed in herself that she can do it. And she was able to reach her goal of 75 pounds.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I'm crying.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful because, a lot of the times when we are selfish, because obviously we are all working on a personal goal right now, right? We're working on ourselves. We want to look good. We want to look cute. We want to get ready for the summer. All those things are all good. But to start thinking about your mom, to start thinking about, your family, and to have those thoughts, right? Se me hace un nudo en la garganta, even though I know this story. But as you're sharing it right now, it's, a lot of the times we have that mindset of, ay, estoy yo, I'm on a diet, me, I'm restricted, me, I'm this, me. And you're saying this part of nutrition, understanding it. So there are people listening right now that maybe only they are, taking care of themselves, learning how to eat better, how to nourish their body. So how did you start to educate or train your family, your mom, starting with your mom, which is much older? So how did that, come into play where they understood like we're all doing this together, not just being like on a diet. And then trickling into your daughter, tell us, how did she start?
Well, as I did this journey, and now I was a coach, and I started coaching my mom, and I started helping her with, recipes, how I can make it fun for her because she loves to, obviously, have pastas and have, the bread and stuff like
Sweet
that.
bread.
Yes. So we came up with, recipes. I plugged myself like like on the calls, we had like a lot of nutrition calls. I was never educated on nutrition, to be honest with you. As I worked out for 3 years, never knew nothing about nutrition, just the Monday through Friday workout and on myself. But when I started helping other people, I started to learn more, and I started to say, wow, like I can help my mom. And she started making those changes daily. And then she started, helping, like my dad, she started getting involved. And it was until my mom also took on board her being a coach, a wellness coach. She said, I told her, Mom, if we take this on together, we'll never look back like to that person. And it became a lifestyle change for us. And she's been doing this for 4 years. We've helped even our family members. My brother lost 50 pounds. I helped my son lose 50 pounds. Wow. My nephew 80 pounds. And wow. It's just been a generation.
It's not typical. I mean, it's not, oh, helped them lose 8 pounds or 10 pounds. No, you're talking about you have helped your family lose 50 pounds, 80 pounds, 50 pounds, 75 pounds. And so that is incredible, Aide. That is like amazing, And so when did your daughter come in?
So my daughter was 15 at the time. So, she goes where I go at the beginning, right?
15 years old.
15. So I didn't have sisters growing up. And she don't have any sisters as well. So I found a way that we can have sisterhood and that we can, also do this together, as I was doing it with my mom. So I love the fact that I can do this with my daughter, like start early on and not wait till you're in a bind, trying to lose weight or doing all these diets. So she came in a great opportunity where she started working out. And the best part for me was like taking that picture together with the 3 generations, that we were going to do this and this was going to be something. I was not going to live a tradition of just like foods, but it was going to be more of something that we can build together.
And how do you feel now that you look back and you see like all of this change that has happened in your family?
I feel that I've paid a price. Okay, we all have to pay a price so that someone can believe, but it's been worth it because sometimes you have to be the one that breaks those traditions, those cycles, those addictions. And for me, breaking that and taking a stand in what I believe has really, just passing that down to her, that she's gonna have, a confidence and not, just kind of just be on the back and, building that confidence. I never had that growing up. So in Team Beauty, I can say I found myself. And I want her to have self-love and not looking that in a man to say, because I feel that we're able to develop that as we're growing up.
Yes, I love that, Aide. Thank you for that. It's very, very inspiring, your story. I look now and I say, a ver, to wrap this up, right? I say, did people ever say, ay, la santita? Like, you went from partying and doing all of this to now eating healthy, working out, not skipping a beat. Did you ever get criticism? Was it ever hard? How was that part?
I mean, you're always going to be criticized, if you're doing something right. So that's already something that I knew I was going to take on. But I didn't do it to think more highly of myself than others. I never did it. Oh, I'm this and I'm judging. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to show what's possible, to inspire other women that this can also be for them, once you start making those decisions. And, I started making this life decisions that, now I get to look back at my life 5 years ago. I'm not the same person, and, be able to give back to the community and give back to women that this can be for them too.
Love that. And what would you say for all of our listeners that are, listening to you right now and, are in their personal journey? They've yet to maybe inspire or thought of even, talking with their moms, with people that they love and care about. What would you tell them? How does that invitation look, right? So they can bring their loved ones into an empowering community like ours.
First and foremost, I always say you just gotta commit without knowing, after, I commit to a challenge. I started on a 12-week challenge not knowing what I was gonna be expecting, and it changed my life forever. So commit, kind of just like, I would say, just be open-minded to try new things, and surround yourself with positivity. Surround yourself with women that are going to really lift you up. I came in here not expecting everything that I now can give to others. So you never know that you might end up loving, something you thought you might have not have, liked before.
Love it. And for anyone that is, struggling with, an addiction or with smoking like yourself, what would you tell them today? What are some things that anybody listening, right, could take on this week to feel more empowered, more alive, to stay through their journey, and obviously look back a couple years from now and be like, I'm proud of her. I'm proud of that girl.
For me, the best advice is evaluate yourself. That's what I did. I evaluated myself. I was out of balance, or I was out of balance. And for me, it's just evaluating yourself where you're at. And a lot of the things for me was weighing me down. So I kind of just said, okay, fitness, nutrition, empowerment. And then it was my surroundings, my addictions, the things, and I had to just choose one, and it weighed out more what I love versus, the things that would take me there just for distraction or, just things like that. And that's how I started making those decisions, just evaluate yourself and yeah.
Awesome, Aide. Thank you so much. It truly is so inspiring to be able to see, how after a couple years you were able to transform your mindset. You were able to be stronger, because it wasn't from a night and day, right? Sometimes people see a result, right? They see a before and after picture, or they see somebody's happiness, somebody's peace. And we really don't know the battles that people lived, right? What they had to go through in order to heal, in order to create confidence, in order to be who they are today. And so you have truly shown us that it was after a couple years, of being committed to yourself in your journey, that you created some sort of strength in your mind to be like, this is it, right? You made a decision, you drew the line, and never looked back. But behind that was a couple years, right?
Yes.
Of empowerment, a couple years in our community, of positivity, of having that support. Because at the end of the day, as we wrap up, I want you to know that what you have inside of Team Beauty is support.
Yes.
Right? You have support. You have somebody elevating you. You have the ability to watch others the way that I did, right? I was able to see other people, and I reflected myself. Hey, I want to be that, right? You were able to identify people that you could trade places in. And so be kind to yourself this week, right? Evaluate yourself and simply take on one thing and say, this is what I'm going to improve in my life, right? Because we can always get 1% better. Aide, from from, being, I see you like from being a heavy smoker, like not only drinking, right? It was like partying, really, to now just having this glow, this happiness, this peace, this confidence. It's like, you can't explain truth, right? It's like, this is who you are, and we know that you reflect that you don't hide it, and you radiate that. So we're extremely proud of you. Thank you for sharing your story here in our Team Beauty podcast.
Thank you.
See you next time.